Hey guys, welcome to the Chad and Prather Show. It is Monday. It is December 16th. This will be the last live show of the year. We have a big year planned for you, and you'll be hearing from me along the way as we get into these next couple of weeks. You'll hear from me some on the Rumble channel as well as on the YouTube channel. But this is the last live. This is the last live. So I want you to call your friends, call your mom, call your dad, call your cousins, call everybody that you haven't talked to in years and tell them, say, get on Rumble, get on YouTube. The Chad Prather Show is live. I want them to join the live chat. Jump in there. I want to see you. I want to see you talking and we got some stuff to break down for you. Joe Biden didn't have a single scandal in his campaign. That's what he said. That's what he said. We're going to break down what I know about these drones that there's a lot. So I don't want to, I wish I could just say just in one little category what these drones are, but I'm going to break it down for you in a little while. And oh man, there's a few things that I just want to run past you guys before. This might be the last time I get you before the actual Christmas holiday just gets injected into your system. All right, so I want to take advantage of this time that we have together. Can you see the exhaustion? You see the bags under the eyes? I have wept tears in recent days. I'm heavy for so many things that are going on in people's lives and in our country. I'm excited. I'm heavy. It's bittersweet. There's so many things. I'm a bundle of emotions. I'm a bundle of emotions. So if you're in the live chat today, throw those little prayer hand emojis up there, and let's just keep on praying together, man, because we got to get this country to January 20th, and we got to get Donald Trump in the White House. I've got some speculations on what could happen between now and January 20th. Before we go any further, let me remind you of a couple of things. One, this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, I am in St. Cloud, Florida. You can tell. Look at my frou-frou hotel room that I'm in. You can see the awning blowing in the mirror out the window there. I am in a Florida hotel room. It is very bougie. We will talk about that in a little while because I want to break down the problem I have with rich people that think their butts don't stink. We'll get into that, but I'm going to be over in St. Cloud, Florida on Friday and Saturday night. Porky's Comedy Club. Ain't no rich folk up in here. Ain't no rich folk up in here. We're going to have some laughs Friday and Saturday night. And then New Year's Eve, the big party. Tyler, Texas. We're going to have a New Year's Eve party. Me and 4 or 5 other comedians. It's going to be a big time. It's going to be a big night. We're going to ring in the new year with some comedy and some laughs. So make your plans now. Go over to watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. And then I'm going to be back in, where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Louisville, Kentucky after the first of the year. Going to be in Fredericksburg, Texas, back at the Rockbox Theater. Man, tons of stuff. Maybe we'll go over the calendar here in a little while. But there's no rest for the weary, baby. No rest for the weary. And, of course, we will be rocking and rolling on Dear America every single morning, Monday through Thursday, with Graham Allen and the gang. If you missed this morning's non-woke Christmas episode, we broke down those Christmas movies for you. So go back and rewatch it if you didn't get a chance to watch it live. I love them prayer hands. I see them prayer hands. I always love talking about prayer hands and Porky's. At the same time, Janess, I see your question. When in Fredericksburg? That'll be January 18th. January 18th at the Rockbox Theater. I'd forgotten I even had that show. Thankfully, I found it. It wasn't on my calendar. So there it is. We're going to be in Fredericksburg, January 18th. So, yeah. I want to talk about my friends over at United Patriot Coin. You guys, you've got your investments out there. You've got your 401ks, your IRAs, all these different things. A lot of you have invested in precious metals and gold and silver. You've got your IRA backed up by precious metals. But what about bullion? What about what about having some everyday value in your safe or even in the truck, in the car, in your pocket? I encourage you guys, when things get crazy, to have a little gold and silver on your person. The people that will help you do that is United Patriot Coin. They're my friends. They got the Patriot Pack. You can subscribe, get it once a month. They're going to send you, I don't know. They're going to send you a solid value of assorted gold and silver every single month. I think the pack starts at like $150, which is a deal, trust me. And right now with the gold valuation simply going through the roof and reminding us that the dollar is absolutely worthless, it is a good idea to have some silver and gold bullion on hand. You could still call them on the phone and get the fight pack. I love the fight pack. I see it right there in the bottom of the screen. That's the one with Trump holding his hand up. What was he saying? Fight, fight, fight. That is a very beautiful coin right there. They've got a limited edition edition. If you give them a call on the phone, you find the phone number over there at UnitedPatriotCoin.com. Check that thing out. Isn't that beautiful? Got Donnie T. You can almost see the orange glow right there in the silver. But you can you get that fight pack, limited edition. Even comes with a little gold in there. You see that bullion down on it. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Keep it with me everywhere I go, just to remind me of, man, what's at stake for this country. UnitedPatriotCoin.com. Check them out. All right, let's bring on the America's favorite host, producer, and co-host of the Chad Prather Show. Oh, yeah. You've been elevated to co-host. That's right, Royce Chamberlain. Royce Chamberlain, baby.
I'm co-host now. Whoa.
You're co-host. Yeah, you're co-host. You're co-host. You're second chair. You're first fiddle. You're all those things, man. I couldn't
First
do it.
fiddle.
I don't even know what that is, but I could not do this show without Royce Chamberlain. Follow him over on X at Royce Chamberlain. Insightful dude, man. You don't get the love you need over on Graham Allen's show. You don't get the love.
No, you don't think so? Well, I mean, of course I don't, because no one's telling me I got pretty eyes like your mom does over here.
My mom says you got pretty eyes, and I like to remind you of that. But I like to get your insight. And, Graham's a phenomenal Graham knows how to dissect the truth pretty well. He's pretty excitable. He's pretty fired up on the show. So when Graham gets on a roll, it's best for everybody just kind of stay out of the way. And I kind of enjoy that. Somebody was asking me last night at dinner. They said, so what's it going to look like whenever you join the Dear America show starting in January? I said, I would love to say that I'm just going to be doing a whole lot more talking as a career. But no, I'll just be doing a lot more sitting and listening. Because I like to get out of the way when Graham's on a roll. No, seriously. Graham's an incredible host. He's one of the best to do this thing, and he's got a great team over there with you and Todd and Tony. Of course, Tony and Graham are going to be doing a separate show. And then January 6th, we are officially kicking off my partnership with the Dear America program and the Dear America Media Network. Which, by the way, I like to remind everybody that acronym, which we will never use, is DAMN.
It is, if you put it all together. But I think right now it's like deciding between Dear America Network or Dear America Media. I think we're leaning more towards media, which still, DAM still works.
But that's okay. That's okay. I was asking Graham the other day. I said, because we're creating a lot of elements that go with this. I said, there's certain people out there who name their groups of people, like the Chad Prather Show. We've always had the Fact Pack, and then and that's a long story there. People know it if they're in the Fact Pack, and different ones have their different groups that are people that are just committed to it. And I said, if we thought of a funny name for that, and Graham, and this is what makes Graham a genius. This is what makes Graham work. He goes, we're going to call it the Dear America Group or something like that. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly what we should call it. The Dear America Club or Dear America Group. I don't know, whatever. But I said, just keep it simple. Keep it simple. I'm the one who's always coming up with weird ways to confuse people. But no, Graham is a genius, and I love that. And I love everyone that's in the chat. I see you guys in there. Thank you for the prayer hands. I need prayer. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm tired. Royce,
I'm
tired.
Sleep, man? You getting sleep?
It's sleep, but it's not good sleep. I've been in a hotel now, which I live in hotels anyway, which I want to remind everybody, I'm working in closer partnership with a company with a product that I use. I've always used them, but now we're developing a little partnership, and a lot of you guys have heard of them. I've got their little deal right here. The Wellness Company. This is their medical emergency kit, and then they've got the contagion kit. They've got the field emergency kits. If you go over to twc.health, the Wellness Company, twc.health/Chad, and then use promo code Prather at checkout. I think they give you like $30 off on these kits, this and the contagion kit, and I think it's $120 off on the field medical kit. I'm telling you this simply because they're not a partner with the show at this point. I'm telling you this because I use these guys when I'm on the road. And so, Royce, to your question, I haven't been sleeping much, and I thought I was coming down with something, and I was like, I kind of had the chills and stuff like that. But I had the medication with me because what they do is they put the prescriptions that you might most likely need or use if you're out on the road. I don't go to the emergency room, don't go to the pharmacy, don't do all that. I keep my stuff with me, and that's what the Wellness Company does for you. They are the opposite of Big Pharma. They keep Big Pharma out of your life, right? So I was happy to have this, Royce. When I am sleeping, I'm not sure that I'm sleeping well. I just got a lot on my mind. It's the end of the year, and you always look back on it and you go, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And I'm the type person that spends, unfortunately, more time thinking about the things I did wrong. And, you just like, man, we should have done that differently, or could have handled this differently. And sometimes I get a little irritable. I know you don't know this about me, Royce, but I can get a little irritable, right?
I've not seen it yet. I've not seen, upset Chad yet.
And
Thankfully, I've not done anything to bring him out. But
and even if you were, you won't see it, because that's safe for people that unfortunately are, in a relationship with me or something like that.
Like you said, unfortunately before.
I feel for anybody that would ever get in a relationship with me, because I have a lot going on. I'm on the road all the time. I'm rocking and rolling, and who knows? I might be the one who's flying those drones over New Jersey. You never can tell.
Maybe.
I might be the one behind the scenes. But anyway, we're not going to bring that up. You went to the UFC fight in Tampa.
I did.
I'm here in Tampa. I'm still in Tampa. I'm literally across town from you.
You should have came, actually. You should have came.
Dude,
I think you had a show that night.
I had a show that night. We had 2 shows that night, and they were great. But how was that? How was that atmosphere? Because I've never been to one of those UFC fights.
That was my second time going to a UFC fight. And every time I've been to a couple sporting events, right? I've been to baseball games, football games, basketball games. There is nothing like the energy at a UFC fight. And that's just I'm not promoting the UFC for any reason besides that I love it. I do love going to the fights because the crowd, the cheering, the fighting energy, there's nothing like it. So it's just a blast every time I get the chance to go. Yeah. And they were in my hometown today, a few days ago. So we got to go, and we had a good time. And it was, I don't know if anybody in the chat might, or if you do know anything about like these fighters, but Colby Covington, he's a big Trump supporter, big conservative guy. He fought, and he was doing great. Honestly, he was getting beat pretty bad, but he kept standing up. It looked like Captain America, where it's like, I can go all day is what it looked like. But then they disqualified him because he was too bloody. The dude was just pouring blood out of his face, and they're like, you can't. He's losing too much blood, and they pulled him out, and he lost. And I'm like, that's unfair. The dude was fighting. He was, in my opinion, he should have won that strictly because he kind of displayed the essence of what a fighter is, right? You don't quit. You don't stop. He kept going, and it was the most blood I've ever seen, on a human body, like in person like that. The dude was just profusely bleeding, and it all happened. And I know we don't want to talk about this for too long. It all happened like a minute into round 1. Where the dude hit him, and he got a cut right above his eye, and it just kept going, and it was all over his face. They hug in these things, right? And they wrestle, and they're on the ground. Yeah. There was blood all over the other guy. It was really graphic, but it was entertaining to watch. Right. And then as soon as they called it, I stood up. I looked at my wife. I said, "Let's go. We're leaving." And then we just left because it wasn't worth staying for much.
I had the pleasure. Of and the honor to meet your wife the other night.
You did.
And she's a sweet, seemingly quiet, I hate using this word now, but seemingly demure type personality.
She's gonna love that you said that.
But she has a quiet spirit, right? I can just sense that about her. She's got a gentle, quiet spirit. How did she take the UFC and the blood and the guts and the gore and the Kobe Covington and all the nonsense?
So she doesn't like fighting. She doesn't like she doesn't like that kind of stuff. She kind of ekes at it or whatever. And so she went for me because I wanted her to come with me, and she had a great time. She told me she had a great time. But she's a nurse. She just graduated nursing school, so she sees lots of blood and lots of stuff like that. So I don't think that fazed her, but it's just the punching in the face where she's like, Yeah. But she had a great time. She did. We had great seats. We're kind of like right there, so we had a good time. She enjoyed it.
Look, you guys had the hookup on the seats. They look pretty good. Yeah,
we did.
And did Matt Best hook you up with those? Did he help you out with Black Rifle Coffee?
Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah. Again, shout out to Black Rifle Coffee. Shout out to Matt Best. I texted Matt the other day. It took him a minute to get back to me, a couple of days. He's like, I apologize. I was like, no, you're just running $1 billion company. It's okay, bro. But it was solid people over there. Solid people over there. I love Matt. Love the gang. Did you see that video of the guy who was arguing with his wife and he punched through the glass window and cut his arm?
I did.
Was basically bleeding to death, and he was screaming.
Yeah, right.
Amy,
I mean, there's
call
some
911.
pretty important veins right up in here. That's where he got cut. I'm like, dude.
I mean, that
was
pretty
nasty.
Boys, I don't care how mad you get. don't punch through the glass, all right? He cut himself. He punched through the home window and then started yelling, call the police, call the police. He was like, forget domestic violence charges. I'm ready to, but I got the follow-up on that. He's survived. He's okay. He's stupid, but his wife apparently filed a restraining order, as she should have. I thought that was pretty cold-blooded, no pun intended, that she just sat there filming him with her cell phone while he bled out in the front yard.
True.
But yeah, don't punch through the glass, boys and girls. Don't punch through anything. How about that? Don't throw hands. If you're in the middle of
unless you're in the octagon, then it's okay.
If you're in there with Colby Covington, who I did have the pleasure of meeting the first time at Mar-a-Lago, there with President Trump. He's a cool dude, man. He is intense. But yeah, don't punch through the sheetrock or the glass or each other. Let's keep it peaceful. All right, so this is my president. My president, Donald Trump, is savage. He's savage. I want everybody to type savage in the chat right there. Put savage. Put it in there in the live chat. I want to blow it up with savage, and I love it. I don't ever want him to change. I want him to be exactly like he is. I've told you guys, you've heard me say it, Royce, I missed Trump simply for the comedic value alone.
Mean tweets.
A guy who can get it done. The mean tweets, give them to me. I would go to my phone like a kid on Christmas morning thinking Santa Trump had arrived and left me a goodie. And it wasn't a cookie, it was a covfefe, and I loved it. And so he put this picture out the other day of former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, also presidential candidate Chris Christie. He explained the drones. This was the picture that he put out there. This is obviously AI generated. Here's Chris Christie eating his quarter pounders, his double cheeseburgers, and the drones are delivering them in right there in New Jersey. The nuance of this joke is pretty sufficient since it's pretty intricate and interesting when you figure he was the governor of New Jersey and the drones are primarily flying over New Jersey. And so problem solved. We know they're delivering the golden arches to, God, AI is scary, bro. The stuff you can generate with that, this is freaking hilarious. I commented under this. I said, this is my president. I mean, savage, dude. Absolutely savage. And I love it.
121 million impressions.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's like Graham Allen on a Tuesday right there. Phenomenal stuff. So let's go to, or we want to go Syria or Biden first. Which one you got loaded up there?
Let's talk about Syria first.
Okay, so Syria, apparently Israel is dropping bombs on me. By the way, we named this episode what was it about the drones? What we said about
I'll be droned for Christmas.
I'll be droned for Christmas. Yeah, there you go. But these aren't drones as so much as this is an Israeli airstrike. And so people are saying, oh, my God, we're being nuked. I mean, like this is finger of God kind of explosions.
I mean, yeah, that looks pretty nuclear to me.
It looks that way. But let me give you my speculative thought on this. What I think we're looking at here is that's the explosion you get when you have a stockpile of munitions and bombs and missiles, and you drop another bomb on top of those. You get something that looks similar to your imaginary vision of Armageddon. So I saw that and I was like, what in the world are they dropping on Syria? But then I thought, obviously they're striking the areas where they are keeping munitions. So, I've seen speculations about the drones where people have said, they're just distracting people with the drones so Israel can do whatever they want to do. I get so tired of that type of rhetoric. I'm like, come on. Israel, I'm not saying the Israeli government is good. I don't think any governments of men are good. I think Israel controls a lot of things they shouldn't, and they're involved in a lot of things they shouldn't be, but so is our government. And yeah, I don't think that either are always doing the most altruistic deeds globally. But at the same time, they're getting bombed too. They're under attack too. So they've got their right to fight back and do what they got to do. And a show of power, I think, is the way you do that. I think the path to peace is a show of power. I've got a tattoo on my arm that wraps around my arm that says "Civis Pacem Parabellum." For peace, prepare for war. And I believe in that. I think that if you want peace, you prepare for war. You show them a show of force and might. And that's what keeps peace going. So yeah, I haven't read anything else about this, but I think they landed a missile on top of a munitions stockpile there in Syria.
That is exactly what they did. They targeted a Syrian, military base that had their stockpile, and I assume that is, I agree with you that's why it looks this way. But I mean, that's a huge, that's a pretty, yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I wonder how far that Joker went.
That's a
as far as
big one,
damage.
Dude. I want to know, can you imagine the concussive blast of getting hit by that? You ever sit there and think about, like, you'll be somewhere where maybe you can, kind of see off in the horizon or whatever, and you think, what if a nuclear blast hit over there? Like, how long would it take for that wave to hit you? What would the damage actually be? What would your reaction be? I mean, if I see a blast and I think it's a nuclear blast, I'm probably going to turn the truck towards it and start driving that direction if the EMP doesn't stop me first. But, I mean, something like that, I mean, that's a savage blast, dude. I mean, that's
savage is the right word.
Moab level. Yeah, that's a big one, bro. I mean, they dropped a bomb on Syria. Look at that picture right there. I mean, that looks like that. Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. But man, I'm telling you, I was talking to a friend of mine day before yesterday. No, it was yesterday morning, and she is a powerful person. She's been on the show. Courtney Kathleen, she's been on the show. She's a powerful intercessor. In fact, if you go back to that picture of the group that was praying for Trump that night, it was an iconic picture a couple of months ago. She was the one who was laying hands on Trump, and she was physically praying for Trump. You could see her mouth moving, and you could hear her praying. She's a powerful force, man, and she was talking about just how heavy the world is. She sent me a message. She was praying for me. And just talking about how heavy things are in the world right now, man, and they are. There's so much evil. There's just so much violence. There's so many things. We're seeing something that has happened throughout history, and that is man's inhumanity to man. And it's ugly, dude. It's ugly. And the capabilities of so much violence that has gotten, I always talk about technology, how it's gotten smaller and easier to use. I think it's easier to use violence these days, too. On a global scale. The delivery systems are faster, and we'll get to the drones in a minute, but all of that stuff. I was talking with a family member who's pretty high up in the intelligence community, pretty high up in the military community, and he made a comment to me. I asked him, I said, "What do you know about these drones?" And we'll talk more about this in a minute. But he said, "I'll tell you this: it's changed the battle space forever." The capabilities that we're seeing, it's changed the battle space. We've thought about conventional warfare for a long time, and now things just aren't so conventional anymore. And it's a scary world we're living in, man. It is a scary world we're living in.
And the reality is, war is easier. All this stuff is easier. Technology is a little bit more convenient. But the overarching, I guess, 1,000-yard perspective is it's easier for us to destroy ourselves than it ever has been. You think about World War I, we didn't have the capability to destroy the planet, but we do now, and it's all across the country. We've got that capability. It's easier for us to which is why it should always be taken seriously, but it's just like, it's a much bigger deal than it ever has been. Yeah, much bigger deal.
And you bring up a good point, because if you consider the technology advancements of World War I, after, let's say, the American Civil War and other conventional wars that were fought prior to World War I, the chemical of like mustard gas and the aerial ability to attack people from above, all of these things were, it caused such a huge loss of life. I mean, France alone in World War I lost 10 million men. I mean, they basically never recovered from that. And it was war became something on a mass scale of destruction. What we're dealing with today, at the push of a button, I mean, a drone strike from the other side of the world, people sitting in a trailer somewhere with a joystick and a button can destroy so much more. I mean, just in an instant, just vaporize people. And the problem is, this is exactly what Moon Fairy 1968, if I can read that right, says. We have a lot of morons running these countries. So the power that's out there and the jacklegs that have access to it, that's pretty scary. So that's a solid point there, Moon Fairy 1968. That is a solid point. And you are not wrong. A lot of morons running these countries, and they got access to destructive, world-changing, population eradicating, genocidal technology.
It's even scary when you think the fact that Joe Biden right now has some of those buttons.
Well,
that's pretty
brother,
scary.
And he doesn't have the wherewithal or even the self-awareness to know himself. You know, I remember a few things that happened when Joe Biden was running for office. I remember getting censored. I remember getting banned from Facebook for talking about a laptop or posting certain images of his son in his underwear and a red scarf wearing his Ray-Ban sunglasses while he was high as a freaking kite. But Joe Biden tells us that he didn't have any scandals. There were no scandals in his campaign whatsoever. This is a breaking story today where he literally he came out for his DNC holiday reception, and this is what he had to say. Play that clip.
We've run a campaign that's basically scandal free. It's hard to do in American politics these days.
You know, he said basically, though. Is it not admitting that there were scandals?
Yeah, when you say basically, so that means, okay, we were only 10% scandal. That's still scandal, Joe. That's like we basically didn't rig it. Like, we basically didn't do it. But the fact that there was any speculation of rigging or corruption or manipulating, I mean, the fact that, you know, ballots came in at 2:00 in the morning, and the way that 51 justice officials were, you know, they ordered social media to classify the laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop, which now has been proven to be accurate and true and verifiable and authentic, that had to be classified as misinformation or disinformation. If you said anything about the stupid laptop, then you were classified as disinformation. So do you hear the chuckle, Royce, when he said that? How the room just kind of chuckled behind him. They know
sure. Okay.
Yeah, they know it's a joke too. See, he's stealing a line from Obama because they ran with that rhetoric for a while where they said Obama had 8 scandal-free years of presidency. That also is a lie, but the media ran with that. And people on social media ran with that too, because they constantly said, well, Barack Obama had zero scandals. I mean, I don't know what Fast and Furious was when they ran guns to the Mexican cartels, he and Eric Holder, and then it ended up in the loss of life of a Border Patrol agent. I would say that's pretty scandalous. I could go on with other things. But again, there's a whole host of lists. But again, they put this stuff out there. But that's not going to work for Joe. That kind of deal is not going to work for Joe. The media was behind Obama. They are not behind Joe Biden. They're just not. They're too busy trying to save their own skin. The legacy media, the mainstream media, they're too busy trying to save their own scalps to spend any time defending this dementia-ridden window licker. They don't have the time for this kind of stuff. So Joe can peddle this stuff out there, but it doesn't come off the tongue as smoothly as it did for old Barrio Soetoro.
No, and I don't really care that Obama, or at least they say, had 8 years of zero scandals. I care more about 4 years of no wars. You know,
yeah,
that's the more important. No wars is way more impressive than no scandals in your campaigns. Who gives a crap? You know, create world peace through strength.
And I don't even get me into the presidency of the withdrawal from Afghanistan that resulted in the life of 13 American soldiers, and on it goes. And they're seemingly doing everything they can to disrupt anything in America, or I said anything in the world, so that America has to deal with new wars, whether they want to or not. So whereas they know that Trump has had track record of no new wars, they're going to do what they can to try to get him into them, so he's busy dealing with that. They 100% want chaos. So a little while ago when you talked about our ability to destroy ourselves, these guys are perfectly fine with that. These people on the left are perfectly fine with that. They'll destroy the world in order to keep power. So this is concerning. We should be concerned about it. And again, all the more reason to have those prayer hands in the chat right there. We got to be praying. Look at this thing, though. What is this deal right here? Because I've never seen a drone that looks like that. A lot of people are speculating that this is straight out of the Bible. This is Daniel chapter 7, Ezekiel chapter 1. You went mute
Oh,
on me. Yeah.
this is something that can only come out of Joe Biden's presidency. Of course, this is going to happen. We weather balloons flying over. We've got all this different crap. World War III, and now alien biblical attacks. Like, what is this thing?
Yeah, this looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. For those of you who are listening via audio, I want you guys at some point in time to go give us a rating and a review of the audio podcast wherever podcasts are offered. But if you can't see this, it's basically a floating orb, and it's revolving. Normally how a helicopter is parallel to the ground. Helicopter rotors run parallel to the ground, basically. This thing seems to be intersectional. Like this is revolving around itself. This is more like an airplane propeller, but it's right in the center of the orb, which is weird. So you have the lights. It's always about these lights, right? And this is some wild stuff, man. This thing just revolving around itself. It sort of looks like a propeller going around. And, a lot of people have said this is like right out of the book of Ezekiel chapter 1 that talks about the multiple eyes of the angels, like this prophetic sphere that was, this all-seeing angelic being. This is getting weird, Royce. Like, this is getting weird. The Ophanim
this is
Hebrew.
no longer like we have drones in the sky. No, we have this thing in the sky.
Yeah.
This is I don't care. Oh, drones, who cares? This thing is way scarier.
Yeah. This is like somebody's pop socket up in the sky right here.
Man.
But, there were people who have speculated about certain drones with nuclear or radiation or whatever capabilities to basically sniff out radiation on the ground. So let's say, as some people have speculated, that, at the end of the Cold War, there were like 40 nuclear warheads that went missing. They talk about dirty bombs. They talk about Iran having capability of putting dirty bombs in places. And so basically they're speculating, was there something like this radiation that is in New Jersey or New York, which of course is, New York's biggest city in the world, right? I mean, it's the most important city in the world globally. It's so, are they fixing to detonate something? And so there was this idea that maybe these drones were out there trying to sniff out these dirty bombs or any kind of radiation or something like that. I don't know that I believe that, but I will say, gosh, where do we even start with this whole thing? Let's put a comma right there, because that's a weird thing. That's weird. I got that. That's a new one for me. I don't think it's an angel. I don't think that that's an angelic being. I don't know what that is. I mean, it literally looks like a dandelion in the sky. How they turn white before you blow them and they just float off in the wind. It's like a glowing dandelion in the sky. There's so many things that are going on. Maybe it's looking for some kind of radiation levels. But again, what is this? I don't have any idea what technology this is. I've talked with several people that are friends of mine in the DOD who are in the CIA or have been connected with either of those agencies. And I'm pretty reasonably certain that they tell me the truth, right? They have no reason to hide it from me. They know I'm a safe place to give information to. They're not giving away government secrets or anything like that. But I haven't gotten a solid answer from any of them. I really haven't gotten a solid answer. Now, there was my buddy Clint Emerson. He was telling me via text message through, somebody with FAA said that their mother was driving through central New Jersey and saw the drone. It flew over, and her car video screen on the front of her dashboard went dark, and the computer system in the car began to reset. So that's weird. If it's picking up some kind of electromagnetic field, I've heard different radio frequencies are going out in the area. Maybe this. I'm waiting on Cousin Eddie on Independence Day to drive his F-16 right up into the bunghole of the alien mothership or something like that and save us. From what is that? That's not Men in Black. Independence Day, the movie Independence Day. Maybe Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum will go up to the mothership and download a virus, something like that. All these things will start crashing to the ground. There's a lot of people that said, why aren't we shooting them down? I've seen some video of people shooting at them. But I don't know if these things are too high or they're moving. It's harder to do.
If it is, I mean, something not human, and this is super, I know this is such a weird conversation, but that, I guess, would somewhat explain why it's not being shot down, because how are you supposed to, take care of something like that if it's not what we think it is?
Well, I don't think this is the American government. I don't think this is the American government. Now, again, they could be doing something like, I've heard another thing that maybe this is a form of a drill with those type of detection drones that sniff out radiation or dirty bombs in preparation of something like that happening. If an event like that were to happen, basically it's sort of like the pandemic. Let's float these precautions or float these protocols out there and just see how the public reacts to them. And so maybe they're flying these things around to see how the public will react. I don't know. But it's weird, dude. I just don't think that, the government keeps coming out saying we don't know what it is. I mean, there was a New Jersey politician, I posted about it this morning on one of my Facebook pages, who said we don't know. The government's saying they don't know what it is. I don't believe the government, but I also know that our federal government can't run the post office. They're not good at the IRS or anything else. I mean, they're just not good at running anything. So for them to have this level of secrecy in connection with some top secret drone operation that's going on. I mean, good God, everything that's ever happened, Royce, in our government, the information gets leaked. I mean, no matter what's going on, if it's a Supreme Court justice confirmation, their address gets leaked. All this stuff constantly getting leaked. So you tell me how this thing is happening, and somebody's not letting that intel get out. It just we're not watertight, you know what I'm saying? And we're also not efficient. We can't run things. So I just have a hard time believing the government is running this. It's like my cousin who, like I said, has a lot of knowledge of this type of thing. He was a pilot. He was a Marine. He worked for various groups of people in the world of intelligence, and he's pretty well in the know. And all he said to me is, this changes the battle space forever. So is this a foreign entity? If so, it's scary that they have those kind of capabilities, and it's not something that we can emulate or imitate or even. And why are they flying only at night? Like, drones aren't designed. They're supposed to be.
And in New Jersey.
Yeah, they're basically. And again, if you're looking for, I got the housekeeping knocking on the door. I don't need you. If you're looking for intelligent life form, you're not going to be over New Jersey, right? I mean, like, that's just not where you go, I would think. Now I'll get all the New Jersey people who are going to say something about that. But I'm just saying, man, we're in a situation where it's mysterious, right? It's mysterious. Are you alarmed by this, Royce? Like, I'm not alarmed. I'm just genuinely curious.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this over our past few episodes. These drones, they said that there's a mothership. Where is it? Why can't we see it? They say there's these drones. Why haven't we seen what these drones look like? They're just lights in the sky. That's all we can see. This, I guess, is the most, detailed image of what these things look like, if that is what this is, unless this is all fake. But it's bizarre. It is bizarre. I don't really know what to think about it. I imagine the only reason I can think that our government would not admit what is going on or exactly what this is if like it's some sort of test, right? And then so they're not going to tell the public something like that. Otherwise, they would be shooting it down. I just find it so hard to believe that if this was foreign and dangerous, that they wouldn't be doing something about it. But every night these things come out, and it's like a normal thing, and they're acting like it's okay. And the only conclusion that I can think of is they know about it, and they're lying to us because it's some sort of top secret government thing, and they're doing it in New Jersey. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense why they're doing it this way, if that is the case. And if not, then why in the world are they not doing something about it?
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense about this.
Yeah, they're doing it in a place where nobody's going to, really attempt to shoot those drones down. They're not doing this over Texas or Tennessee or Georgia or Alabama. I mean, you'd have some West Virginia hillbillies throwing smoke up in the sky pretty quick. They'd be all about that. So again, maybe it is a select targeted area, but it's not just one drone or two drones. I mean, like you said, they're coming out every night. It sort of reminds me of when they were doing those surveillance drones during the COVID pandemic to make sure that people were obeying curfews, and they had the heat seeking, or basically heat detecting. They could tell body heat and things like that if people were outside of their homes. And there was a lot of drone activity during COVID in China. Like, they were talking to people through the drones and telling them to get back in their house and things like that. But this, I mean, they're coming out at night. I mean, there's a lot of them. I've seen speculation of people talking about a lot of drones that they're seeing all at once. Like, I think we've got one thing where a lady said she saw like 50 drones that came out
of the ocean.
From the
is
ocean.
What she's claiming. Yeah.
From the ocean.
She said she saw 50 drones come out of the water, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a woman said that she saw 50 drones come out of the ocean. I mean, somebody's got to be talking about it. Is that a clip to play right there?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, let that thing play. Let her rip.
So the drones are coming from the inside of the ocean.
After seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Look at that.
After we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat, and they reported seeing 13 following their boat. And then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
I see one right here.
Did I see the same thing that officer saw? I'm still not sure. What I can show you is this video. What I can tell you is I've never seen anything like it before.
Wow.
In more than a month since these reports started, the federal government...
I mean, the federal government's completely incompetent. They have no statement on it. They can't tell us what it is. And honestly, as a U.S. citizen, this should piss us off, right? Because they're flying over our homes, over our loved ones. They're flying over our lives. I mean, is this surveillance? Is this spreading something? We have a right to be concerned at things like this, and we have a right to know. I mean, our federal government, yes, we have elected politicians with delegated authority. They seem to forget that because they're so power hungry. And then they start appointing, the 4 million unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. Those are the people who are truly running everything. And the fact that they're doing these things without any accountability, without any disclosure, and I understand you've got to keep a level of secrecy if something's going on, but if you're going to start testing out military-grade operations or any kind of detection or anything like that, and you're going to do it over private residences, you're going to do it over people's lives where civilians live, that's a little far reaching for me. I mean, get out there in government lands in the desert somewhere and let's start operating these things and do your test. But if you're running psyops on human beings, American citizens, then we got a problem. Like this is when your government's out of control, and we know the government's out of control. They're without accountability, and this is bad stuff. This is bad stuff. I don't think it's aliens. I just don't think aliens are flying drones in here like that, but, what do I know? This is weird, dude. It's weird. I mean, really, all we could do is speculate on stuff like this. But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them coming in here, man. And Striker J has you mentioned the speech, that Trump's speech about the drones. We need to take a look at that at some point in time, and we will. But that's over on Instagram, and I guess it's everywhere now. But there's a lot of speculation that's going on this deal. So anyway, these days I think we're so used. They primed us with so much science fiction and so much garbage in Hollywood and everything else that now people are like, oh yeah, that's just something flying in the sky over our cul-de-sac. And a lot of people say, well, maybe they're just generating these videos and it's AI. No, there's too many eyewitnesses. There's too many people who could see them. So anyway,
I have that clip of Trump if you want to play it.
I would love to play it if you've got it. That would be great. Thank you, Striker J, and thank you, Royce. Let's let her rip. Here we go.
First of all, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey and the ports? And it seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
There you go. I mean, I think that's basically where most of us are living right now. The government knows what it is. They're not going to tell you what it is, which is BS. They should let people know. There should be some disclosure. If this is a test, it's a test. But if you can track these things, you need to let people know, just for peace of mind. If not, then you can speculate. Again, there's no such thing as a vacuum in nature, and our ideas, our inquisitions, our investigative, brains, the questions we have, we rush to fill that void, and that's where conspiracy theories come up with. And so my only conclusion is this is the government running some kind of psyop. They're using a fear-based, one big fat question mark in our minds. It's a psyop of some kind, and that just pisses me off.
I mean, what else could it be? I saw Sheila in the chat earlier saying, like, oh, there's 10 military bases in New Jersey. Like, yeah, okay. That's not the argument. Why are they flying over homes in New Jersey? The military has bases. Yeah. They have testing sites that are much more like isolated and far away from civilians. If this is a military test, it shouldn't be over people's homes, over their property, over their families and stuff. That's really the concern. I know that our military tests things, and I'm glad that they do before they use them and cause damage that maybe was unwanted. They should test things, just not over your house, my house, anybody's house, and then not tell us. Not tell us. It's like, I talked about it before. The comedian that was like, oh, people say the military, to trust the government. And he's like, well, the government's basically, our parents, right? I'm a parent. I have kids, and I lie to that guy all the time. That's what the comedian said. And I think it's 100% accurate, because the government looks at us as small people who just kind of obey them and do what they say, when really it's supposed to be the reverse. We pay them. They're supposed to do what we say, and they don't. Instead, they fly military drones, if that's what this is, over our house and tell us like, oh, don't worry about it. We're taking care of it. Yeah. That's not the right attitude for our government to have.
And obviously, you have a president-elect in Donald Trump who has not been read in on this stuff. And I think honestly that Trump is keeping himself out of a lot of being read in on things, because they ultimately he doesn't trust the people who are doing the reading in. And so I think he's waiting until his people are in place so he can filter out a lot of the stuff, so he's not passing misinformation and adding to the confusion. I think that there's a wisdom on the part of Trump now that maybe wasn't there on the first term. But there's an element of saying, hey, I'm going to wait till my guys are in place, and we'll filter that information out ourselves, rather than being fed, the disinformation that you want us to utilize to sow your own chaos. I think that's what happened with COVID. I think Trump got fed a lot of lies. That's why Fauci was elevated to the point where he was. I think that he was fed a lot of stuff about the pandemic that maybe was not true, but it pushed the agenda and the narrative even further. And I hope that Trump learned from that, and he's not, getting read in on some of this information, some of this top secret stuff by the people who are going to continue to push that kind of crap and ultimately bring him down even further. So who knows? But I agree with him. I think this is a government, they at least know where it is. They know what it is. They know where they're coming from. And I agree with various people who have said in the chat, it's either a smokescreen or it's a distraction. Listen, that's the way our government operates now. Whatever they're showing you is not what they're doing. The hand is up here showing you something while they're doing the sleight of hand underneath the table. And they don't want you knowing about it. It disgusts me. And in regards to that, I understand there's a place for secrets. I just heard somebody in that press conference a little while ago asked what Trump would do about bombing Iran's nuclear sites or whatever. And he's like, why would I tell you that? Like, I don't know what I would do. Why would I tell you that? I'm not going to tell the press about me bombing something in Iran when Iran can sit here and watch this program and know what we're going to plan on doing. So, again, there's always a smokescreen that's there, and there should be full disclosure. I agree with you, Striker J, on that. I always agree with Striker J. You're right, minus a few things. If it's on American soil, 100,000% full disclosure, and it's a distraction. There's no question about it. So I encourage people, don't operate in fear no matter what's going on. Even if it was an angel, even if it was an alien, don't operate in fear. Don't operate in fear. We got a big God. God's in control. He's in control, but we still have to be good stewards of everything, and we got to have some common sense and some critical thinking skills. And it's okay to hate the government. I give you permission to hate our federal government, because I do. I'm so sick and tired of them. They disgust me. They absolutely disgust me. Everything about them. I'm so tired of bureaucrats. I'm so tired of the media. I'm so tired of the overlords, whether it's the judicial system or the social media system or the mainstream media system or the legacy media system. I'm sick of all of it. The educational system. I've told my audience for years and years that we can't trust any of the institutions anymore because they've all been corrupted by power, and that power has corrupted absolutely. So here's where we are, man. Here's where we are. But God's in control. You know what? You can have the federal governments. You can have Israel's government. You can have secret societies, secret agencies. You can have intelligence agencies. You can have, the federal government up to all this kind of stuff. But there is a kingdom, and it is not of this world. And I promise you, that kingdom brings an order and a peace that this world will never understand. So I say stay in the light, people. Stay in the light, because the darkness can't comprehend it. And you say, well, that's not very practical. Oh, it's more practical than you could ever imagine. Trust me. You start applying the principles of God's kingdom in this world order, and I promise you, not only are you going to see a lot of things come to light, but you're going to get revelation and insight on things that you never dreamed of. You'll have stuff that's going to pop into your head, and you're going to go, where did that come from? I'm telling you, that's the kind of stuff. You get yourself in alignment. I think all these things that are happening in our world right now, Royce, I think God is getting his people. He's smartening them up. He's giving us some wisdom to see some things, because we're in a big battle, and it ain't of this world. It ain't of this world. So anyway, but at the same time, we got to hold this government accountable. We got to call them out. We got to hold them accountable. They don't like it. They can put us on whatever list they want. They can censor us, demonetize us, deplatform us, try to take our voice away. But that's why the beauty of what we're doing in this next year, of coming together, bringing our voices together, mine, yours, Graham Allen, so many others. There's others we're talking to. I talked with Graham a little while ago, some other voices that are out there that we're trying to get on the team. If they can ever catch the vision of what we're doing with the Dear America media, woo boy, ain't going to be able to stop us, man. Ain't going to be able to stop us. You know why? Because I think God's in it. And here we go. Buckle up. I'm encouraging everybody to go watch Dear America's the Christmas episode this morning. What was your number one Christmas movie again
Christmas
on our
Vacation.
list? Christmas Vacation was mine too.
It's my number one.
You and I agreed on a couple of them on our top 10 list.
We did.
We did. My number two was It's a Wonderful Life. You'd never seen it.
No, I want to though. It's on my list.
People need to watch it with me. There's some things to interpret in that movie that I think are some valuable life lessons. I mean, there's obviously some big life lessons in there, but there's some nuances to that movie that I love to interpret, and I cry. I don't mind telling you, Royce, I cry every time I watch that movie, because I can relate. I can relate to old. I'm Jimmy Stewart. I throw a lasso around the moon, and I'll pull it down here, and I'll give it to you. That's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the moon. Love that movie, man. Love that movie. I got some other things I want to tell you. Don't jump off of here just yet. Before I go any further, though, I hope you guys are ready for Christmas, man. I really do. If you're looking for a last-minute gift, why don't you give the gift of communication? What do I mean? Well, you can give your family, friends, loved ones a cell phone, but give it to them from a company you can trust, like Patriot Mobile. Go over to patriotmobile.com And when you're there, use promo code CHAD and get set up with America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They use the same cell towers as the big three. But the beauty is when you pay your cell bill, which is going to be cheaper than the big three, you're not only going to have the same coverage, but you can know that your money is going to a company that supports your values and not sending a portion of your bill to these woke ideologies and narratives that are out there. So they trust and believe in the First Amendment. They're always going to support it. They believe in your Second Amendment values. They take care of our first responder and our veteran and military heroes. There's so many deals over there. You can keep your own phone. They'll get you a new one, get you a new number. They can transfer your number to a new phone. They'll help you out, man, with activation. They're going to waive that fee if you use Chad. If you call them on the phone at 972-PATRIOT, give them a shout over there, patriotmobile.com. There are some good folks, man. And they're also folks that trust in the kingdom of God and know that God's in control. So rocking and rolling. I see you, Shelley. People are seriously arguing about Die Hard and whether it's a Christmas movie or not. It is. It is. And I don't care what Graham Allen says. It is. You know, John McClane comes down. He comes down the air conditioning vent like Santa comes down the chimney. He descends like the Lord. Comes down there and brings some of that righteous, holy justice. I just like the Advent. I'm telling you, man. From on high at the top of the Nakatomi Plaza, he gives some of that street justice, and I need to go watch that movie again. But you know, Tony was talking about Gremlins being a Christmas movie and Rambo or First Blood being a Christmas movie. I had not thought about those being Christmas movies.
Gremlins, I get it. Rambo, yeah. I don't know. That's a stretch.
It just happened to have Christmas lights in the town. Now, so what I've started calling those movies is those are Christmas adjacent movies. So Die Hard and Gremlins and stuff like that, it's Christmas adjacent. Okay, and Love Actually and Serendipity and those types of movies, they're Christmas adjacent. So, but Striker J says Graham's list was the worst of all. Don't disagree. Love Graham, but terrible Christmas taste. I even told all of you guys, I was watching the show this morning, and I was like, I remember telling you guys, y'all don't even love the Lord. If you don't like It's a Wonderful Life, you don't even love the Lord. Yeah.
I gotta watch it. I'm sure I'll love it. I love old movies. I love black and white movies.
Watch it from the perspective of, we all get to that point, and I do, and I'm gonna tear up just talking about it because this movie makes me cry. If you've been through anything in life and you feel like your life is worthless and you feel like maybe if you just had never been born, maybe the world would have been a better place, and you have regret or you have things that you've done that you wish you could take back, go watch from that perspective. Go watch It's a Wonderful Life about a guy who just has no sense of self-worth, but his life was so important. Powerful. And God shows up and just shows him that his life mattered to so many people. So anyway, I tear up every time I talk about it, Royce. That's what happens, man. It's a good perspective to have as we get into this holiday season, because this is the time of year when there's more suicides during the holiday season, more depression, there's more pressure. Let's take a little bit of the commercialization out of Christmas this year. Let's give each other experiences. Let's give each other love. I don't think you need to spend a lot of money. Lexus doesn't need to give you the December to remember. But I think that you guys, if you're going to give gifts, make them meaningful. Like I said with Patriot Mobile, give the gift of communication, the ability to connect with one another and talk and share your values. I love to camp out. I think I'm going to go camping for Christmas. I think I'm going to spend some time out in the woods and just get some perspective again, man. But yeah, dude, I just that's my conviction this year is find some meaning, find some purpose, get over the regrets, and let's move into 2025 with hope and optimism. God blessed us, Royce. I'm telling you, man. I don't always make these episodes about what God's doing in our lives and in the country, but I'll tell you, He blessed us with this election. And I'm excited to see what's in store for all of us as we move forward. It ain't gonna be easy. I'm not under any delusion to think it's gonna be easy. We got drones flying over us, brother. So
we got drones.
Here we are.
We don't know what's going on.
Here we are.
You know what? I hope Trump at his inauguration just comes out and says, this is what happened on January 6th. This is the Epstein list. This is the Diddy list, and just reveals everything at the inauguration. That'd should be cool. His speech.
That would be
Yeah.
cool. I will be there. I'm going to be in D.C., and then I'm staying in D.C. that week. I'm going to be at the March for Life. I'm going to be at the Life or Death Con with my buddy Seth Gruber with the White Rose Society. Seth Gruber is one of the smartest guys I know. He's become a dear friend. Some very great speakers at that deal. My friend Ali Stuckey, as well as Eric Metaxas and some others that are going to be there. Seth, of course, and his organization. And then we're staying over for Friday night for the March for Life Gala that night. So I'm excited to be in D.C. that week. It's going to be cold, but I'm excited to be there. And it's going to be cool. I wish you would reveal some things too. But if you guys want to go, to the Life or Death Con, it is on the 23rd of January. You can get your tickets over at White Rose Society. Just Google that, White Rose Society. Check them out. And of course, always check out Seth Gruber's 1916 project, both the film and the book. I want to go over to my calendar real quick before I let you go, Royce, because you got to travel tomorrow. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go, big dog. Right. I will be in Louisville at the Comedy Club on the 9th through first of all, this weekend I'm in St. Cloud at Porky's Comedy Club, all right? And then trying to get Jesse Payton to repent. You saw he's nasty. He got a dirty mouth. We're trying to get some Jesus infused. And, believe it or not, I'm making some inroads with that kid. But we're going to be in St. Cloud and this weekend. Then we're finishing the year at Tyler, Texas. And then starting the year, the 9th through the 11th, Louisville at the Comedy Club, going to be at the Rockbox Theater January 18th. Life or Death, you can actually go to lifeordeathcon.com, I think is where that'll be up. So I'll be in D.C. for that. Then I'll be in Austin, Texas. I'm going in with the woke folk to do some comedy at Cap City Comedy Club, Austin, Texas. Then Waco on the 31st of January, Granbury, Texas on the 1st of February. Then Joplin, Missouri, Lawton, Oklahoma, Klamath Falls, Oregon for St. Patrick's Day, and then Bryan, Texas, Cold Springs. I'm all over the place. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. Yeah, and then I'll be back with you guys some. I'll do some recordings. I might go live a couple of times between now and the end of the year. But this is it. This is our last live, brother. And Royce, man, you're the best Christmas present I've ever gotten, man. You're the one. You're the one. So I'm you and those pretty eyes.
So your mother says.
So my mother says.
That's right.
Man, I appreciate everything that you do, Royce, and I want everybody to like and share this episode. Please do. Help us grow. We're getting back up there. Kicking it off with Dear America, January 6th. This show will be back as well. With our live, we're going to be, Graham's on at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, and then right now I'm sticking with this time slot, this 2 Eastern, 1 Central. I'm sticking with that. We'll see if that changes. I'm pretty fluid as we grow, and I'm pushing everybody to Rumble. Love them over there. Don't forget to check out our sponsors at United Patriot Coin as well as Patriot Mobile. Royce, anything you need to leave them with, brother?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. We'll see you guys. Stay tuned, like Chad said, with Dear America. Big stuff happening. Excited about you, Chad, hopping on with us. It's going to make a much more entertaining show, I think. You're going to bring a lot of entertainment to the show. More than it already has.
So many things going on, man. So many fun things. We're going to have a good time. All right, guys, for the rest of you out there, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this family. Continue to tell your family and friends about this show. I promise you, I will get out of the hotel room very soon, and I do have a legitimate studio in which to put a quality program out, and we will be back there very, very soon. I'm homesick. I want to go home. In the meantime, love each other as we head into this season where we remember the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and know that I love you as well, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. You're the best. You're the absolute best, and don't you forget it. And It's a Wonderful Life. It's a good dadgum movie, so go watch it. All right? We'll talk to you next time. Love you. Bye.